So let me begin with a very serious question. This is for all of you, okay? Raise your hands. This is the first thing that you do as soon as you begin your morning. Go to your smartphones and check your WhatsApp, Twitter, Facebook, and all the accounts. Oh wow, I have so many friends out here. Okay, great. I thought I was the only one out to be doing that in the city of Bombay. So we all actually understand how technology impacts our lives. At the beginning of the 20th century, at the beginning of the 21st century, towards the end of the 20th century, we were moving into a new era of technological advancement. The internet came in and completely redefined the way we think, the way we say, the way we do things. It's phenomenal how it has impacted us. Today, I'm going to take you a couple of flights. Join me as I fly you a century back into the past, other side of the world, where a promise of a new technology was changing the way people imagined the future. And there was a race who was going to do it first. Some of the best keen minds from the science were chosen for the job. And one of those personalities was Mr. Samuel Langley. Now, Mr. Samuel Langley, he was an astronomer, and he was the secretary at the Smithsonian Institute. He was a professor at the United States Naval Academy. He was the associate assistant at Harvard School Observatory. He was very well connected, very well funded. In fact, the government gave him a $50,000 US grant for his project, which was quite a sum at that time. Not only that, he garnered the support of some of the brightest, the best minds which were available at that time in the field. He had everything that you call as ingredients for a recipe of success. He was well connected. He had all the grants. He had the best team with him. Let me ask you a question. How many of you here have heard about Langley's success? With all that he had, was he doing something wrong? Or was he missing some important ingredient which constituted success? Let's take a little shorter flight from where Langley was operational towards the western side of the United States. A small flight. We go to Dayton, Ohio, where there were two brothers who were working on something similar, and probably they were doing it right. Yes, you're right. I'm talking about the Wright Brothers. Ironically, as opposed to Langley had all these recipes for success, which you call that something, a dream to have in order to make a project accomplished. On the other hand, Wright Brothers had what you call as a recipe for failure. They had no government grants. They had no funding. In fact, people who joined them as the team were not even college graduates. Some of them were just high school dropouts. In fact, you'd be surprised, but they funded their dream by the proceedings of their bicycle shop. Yes, you heard it right. The bicycle shop owners. After repeated failures, on December 17, 1903, on the fields of Kitty Hawk, North Carolina, the two brothers took to the sky. It was a 59 seconds flight at an altitude of 120 feet with the speed of a jog. That all it took to usher humankind into a new phase of technology that was going to redefine the way we live our world on this planet. Now let's look at these two stories, and we understand both Wright Brothers and Langley were highly motivated. They were keen scientific minds. They had a deep sense of purpose, as we say. They had a deep sense of why they were doing what they were doing. But there was a difference as well. Langley, he had passion for technology, but he didn't have a cause to champion. He wanted to be first, he wanted to be rich, he wanted to be famous, and he was seeing this as an opportunity, as a ticket to his fame and glory. Whereas the Wright brothers, they knew, they believed very strongly that if they were able to usher in this technology in this world, it is going to make it a better place for the people who inhabit this planet. One was motivated by his own, as I say, he was motivated by his own I. For Langley, his I was interfering with his why. But the Wright brothers, they were not motivated just by fame, they were motivated by something deeper and broader. They wanted to contribute. And therefore their I, they didn't allow their I to interfere with their why. Now let's come back to India. Sort of like jet lag. Coming back to India a century later, closer to the time frame where all of us are. August 3, 2004. A young ambitious boy enters the precincts of Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, one of the elite educational institutes in India. He was from a simple middle-class family from Meerut, Uttar Pradesh. He grew up with a dream. He worked hard to get to this dream. He eventually made it there where he could fulfill his dream. And he made his parents, his teachers, his community proud and happy. It was all going great for him. But then something happened. And he lost that desire to pursue that dream. So there was this man, this young boy, who was just losing his dream. In fact, at one point of time, he wanted to quit his dream. I happen to know this boy very closely. In fact, very closely. In fact, he is right here in this room with all of us. In fact, he's standing in front of all of you. That's me. You won't believe, but at one point of time, I wanted to quit my studies at the Indian Institute of Science right in the first semester. And it wasn't that the studies were very difficult, or I was homesick, or I was getting bogged down by the sambar idli and dosa of the South Indian cuisines. I loved them. And I still love them as much as my mom's paratha and lassi. There was something deeper. I was becoming fearful of the future. I wasn't very sure about where my career was going. Ever had that experience that fear grips you? About the future, whether you are at IISc, whether you are at IIM, wherever you are, future started becoming bleak. I still remember one fine day in my hostel room, I was sitting, overwhelmed with confusion, desperation, and frustration, not understanding what I was supposed to do with my life. And then I decided to call upon that one person whom I always looked up to, my dad. I called him, I rang him up, and I poured out my heart. My father, my dad, just listened very patiently. He didn't judge me, he didn't ridicule me, he didn't reprimand me, he just listened patiently. And once I was done, my dad just asked me one question, which still echoes in my heart, and which has redefined the way I looked at life. Completely redefined the paradigm with which I lived my life. This is what he said. Avatar, what is your why? And I was like, Dad, I'm already confused. Why are you confusing with all these questions? What is your why? Just tell me whether I continue my studies at IISc or I get back. Just tell me that simple thing. What is this question? My father very gently reiterated. He said, Avatar, just ask yourself, what's your purpose deep within? What do you want to be in life? Not what you want to do in life. All your fears and insecurities, just keep keep them aside. Just ask yourself what you want to be in life. And for a moment I reflected back on this question and I replied, Dad, I want to be a student in the school of life, contribute back to the world in my best possible capacity. Then almost immediately my dad said, son, then just do that. Just do that. Follow your purpose, follow your why, follow your inner heart's calling. And all these insecurities which you are facing, they are sabotaging your why. Don't let that get into you. Dream. He continued and he quoted the famous verse from the Gita, which Krishna is telling Arjuna, who was in a similar predicament. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. My dad said, Avatar, be like Arjuna, just perform your duties. Don't let your insecurities sabotage you. And I could hear myself telling myself, don't let your I interfere with your why. Then I continued with my studies, and I graduated from Indian Institute of Science. By the time I was graduating, I had multiple jobs in multinational companies, a class 1 officer job offer from Indian Railways, a professor from the United States was calling me for a PhD. I had what everybody was looking for. I settled down with a multinational company, I started working on a job. And then I was thinking, my dear friends, that if one verse of this wisdom text can give me this level of clarity, what does the whole book has to offer? And then began my journey once again. I began to reflect, introspect, study carefully this book. And in my journey, I met several people. I was, started studying, exploring this philosophy. And I came across people who were not only adepts at the philosophy, but they were actually living by it. I spent almost half a decade studying this philosophy, exploring it, going deeper. And by the grace of God and by the help of my revered spiritual teachers, I could find that the wisdom that this book had to offer was way broader and deeper than what I already knew. And then again, after years, I had a calling in my heart. This time the calling was much deeper, intimidating, confusing, but very strong at the same time. I wasn't sure whether I can take the steps which are necessary to answer this calling. I was hesitant. And guess whom did I approach for clarity? My dad. I still remember it's March 2008. One fine evening, I approached my dad, who was a lawyer, and I said, Dad, I need to talk to you. And he always had all the time for all of us. So he said, yes, my dear son, what do you want to say? And I said, Dad, you remember you had told me once, when I was confused during my studies at Indian Institute of Science, and you said, just follow your why, don't let it get impeded with your eye. Since then, I've followed that, and I'm grateful that it has given me such immense clarity. Such immense clarity, I'm very grateful for that. And Dad looked at me, nodded, made a approval, smiled at me. And then I said, Dad, now down the line, now I want to explore and open myself up to the deep wisdom that life has to offer. Share that with the world. There was silence. My dad looked at me intently, into my eyes straight, as if trying to read the mind of his son. I said, gathering all the courage that I had, I said, Dad, I want to be a monk. I want to exclusively dedicate my life to learning this wisdom and share it with the world. Now please imagine yourself, keeping yourself in that situation. You have a son who is like all these accolades from Indian Institute of Science, and he could make your life better, he could bring so much fame and this and that, and he's asking you after all his studies, I want to be a monk. If honestly speaking, if I would have been at his place, I wouldn't have been able to do what he did and said. There was silence for some time. My father was still intently looking at me, and I was apprehensive. What is he going to say? There was that moment in my life. And suddenly my father's grave face broke into a smile, and he said, And I can't forget this verse ever. He said, my dear son, follow your heart. Follow your purpose. Follow your mind. And I am with you in this. I was astounded at the response. He didn't let his eye come in the way of my why, my heart's calling. It has been a decade since then, since that incident happened. And I have still many, many long years to go, many, many lessons to learn, many, many people to meet. And in fact, my strong belief is when you treat life as a classroom and you open up to life, then everyone who walks into this classroom, everyone who walks into this classroom of life has something very deep to teach you, to give you meaning, to give you balance, to give you enlightenment. And if it would not have been his response, if my father would not have responded the way he did, and it would not have been my revered spiritual teachers who taught what they taught, I think I wouldn't have been standing here in front of all of you sharing some wisdom. For many people, when I go, I am like the sage, the enlightened being. But honestly speaking, for me, my dad is the sage of my life, who gave me the courage to follow why unimpeded with me on. So now you might be wondering, okay, what are the practical things? Aren't we supposed to plan? Aren't we supposed to organize? Aren't we supposed to enhance our skills and this and that? But here is what I'm challenging you, my dear friends. If this principle is so profound, following your why without being impeded with your eye is so profound that if you follow this principle, then eventually everything will fall in place. Everything will fall in place. Because this is the fuel which fires at the plane of your aspirations. Believe me, when your passion meets your purpose, the results are phenomenal. When you pursue your why without being impeded with your eye, you make a significant contribution to the world, and the impact is historic. So my dear friends, my dear high flyers, may you all fly high in the sky, fired up with the fuel of your why. Just don't let it get impeded with your eye. And believe me, it's all yours. Believe me, it's all yours. The entire sky.